So I get up super early for my day job, and this morning I woke up with the strangest phrase in my head. It kept repeating itself over and over in my brain all day. I had no clue what it was from, just this one phrase: container park. Container park, what the is that? It drove me nuts like for 9 hours. I hate looking stuff like that up. Catch me dead if I'm not breaking my brain Usain Bolt sprinting through my mind palace until I connect all the dots and figure it out. Then boom, it hit me. Container Park is a Chemical Brothers song, and it was track 19 on the OST of a movie I'd blacked out, and turns out upon revisit to be one of my favorite movie scores of all time. Do you guys remember Hanna? See, because then my mind was double blown, because I haven't seen Hanna in almost like 8 or 9 years, so why the hell is this song coming to the surface of my subconscious at 4:30 a.m. on a Thursday? Then I listened to the song again. Then I was like, okay, this slaps, and I completely forgot to revisit Hanna today, as a total movie snob and asshole, because at 17 or 18, I was in love with this movie. Okay, let me rewatch this movie. Yo, anybody seeing this shit, dude? Man, the early 2010s were absolute peak cinema for teen dorks. Christopher Nolan was absolutely Riz-maxing, and Neil Blomkamp wasn't entirely bad yet, and Zack Snyder was bad, but I didn't know he was bad yet. And I'll absolutely be transparent for the context, not just for this video, but for my channel writ large. I was homeschooled, all right? Chill. All through high school too, chill. But I was still a huge movie buff, and despite not being given free reign to watch all R-rated movies, I was thirsty for legitimately good films. PG-13 is a rating I have always been fascinated by because of my war waged on it. What could or couldn't happen on screen? How thin can this little line be? Having to have every movie be ran through the Screen It plugged in common sense media machine to see how many boobs, how many F or S words, how much torture, how many fucks could I give? None. But Dad won't take me to see Slumdog Millionaire until we figure out why it's R and if it has any redeeming qualities. I said I know, Danny Boyle, Dad, it will. It did. I'm getting off track. I'm sorry. All right, I propose upon rewatch that Hanna is one of, if not the best PG-13 action movies of all time, or at least the best one during the 2010s and during the ambiguous time it entered and left my brain that you guys didn't experience. So you can disagree, I'm just yapping. Y'all, this movie is great. If you think that's ludicrous and consider yourself a certified cinephile, go watch it again. Hanna is a 2011 action thriller directed by Joe Wright and stars Saoirse Ronan, Eric Bana, Cate Blanchett, and Tom Hollander. Raised by her father in the woods to be basically a killing machine, a young woman is sent out into the real world with a mission. Meanwhile, a whole group of agents led by Blanchett are after Hanna and her father because they've been off the grid evading them for mysterious and elusive reasons since Hanna was like 2 years old. Or younger. Who cares? This movie was like mistaken for like a YA novel because it is kind of a coming of age thing and has Saoirse Ronan, who was in like Lovely Bones and The Host and all this other kind of stuff like that. This movie is not really that. And rewatching this was one of the best rewatching experiences I've had, because not only was I getting a hit of nostalgia just from the experience of revisiting it, but the absolute joy of seeing this now and feeling absolutely justified for thinking it was brilliant a decade prior. So the Chemical Brothers, as mentioned, do the score for this entire movie, and it is in your face the whole time. The music is so integral to this movie's pace and odd tone. They didn't have to go so hard on these tracks. And I'm someone that doesn't really care as much as I probably should about movie scores. I've been noticing ones I love more now, like Challengers, for example, but I still don't listen to them on their own that often. I played Container Park and had to listen to the entire soundtrack front to back, and let me tell you, it pairs very nicely with the good Returnal or Risk of Rain 2 session, by the way. And while the music isn't diegetic in the way that it is in Baby Driver, where the music's coming from a real thing like a boombox or stereo in the universe of the movie, I kept noticing certain moments where footfalls and actions on screen were in time with the driving synth and bass accompanying this scene. It's great. Whenever these three dudes are getting screen time, there's this incredibly creepy, childish piano music that plays. Totally makes Tom Hollander's character take on this child catcher vibe that is super unsettling. And please let me know in the comments, by the way, what other scores do you guys just bump if someone passes you the aux? It's a big blind spot for me. But this score just drives this movie and drives me nuts. I don't mean to belabor the point, it's just so rare in my experience that a movie just runs from front to back with the music being so well integrated to the narrative while also giving the whole movie an otherworldly feeling. Everything in Hanna is a little bit strange, from the dialogue.
I think I'd quite like to be a lesbian, but not one of those fat ones, one who's like a supermodel.
To some of the performances, to the music, to the fact that the guy that makes stuff like Atonement was at the helm of this. It's hard to single one thing out because all these different components come to this soaring level of cohesion and the movie just starts going. The editing in this is wild. The camera spins around and lets itself be known. It just casually breaks out a sustained 2 or 3 minute oneer that ends in a 1v5 fight sequence, then casually gives you a very intimate and sweet scene under the covers between Hanna and the first friend she's ever made, then casually introduce this insane whistling tracksuit wearing German with his 2 weirdo henchmen flanking him. Cate Blanchett intentionally muddying her accent. I swear it's intentional because we notice her distinctly changing her dialect with different characters. It's really off-putting and cool, and she's a brat bastard in this movie. What's crazy is I usually talk about movies when I'm openly already a fan of the director and I want to see their newest thing. But Hanna is a masterpiece not because of my own bias toward the filmmaker for once. Joe Wright made like Atonement and Pride and Prejudice and movies that are very clearly nothing like this, and he hasn't done anything like Hanna since. I don't know how he made this movie or where he got the testicular fortitude to go this fucking hard. It's not because I love Eric Bana or Saoirse Ronan, although they're both very talented actors, or the Chemical Brothers. I'm aware of them and think they're great, but I've never seen them live. I don't know anything of theirs outside of this score, to be frank. Please also let me know what album of theirs, if you are a fan, sounds the most like this, because this is perfection. I love this album. But Hanna as a singular movie is just electric. I know a lot of people probably do remember it. Like, I know it's not some tiny art film I'm exposing to the world. It even had that spin-off Amazon Prime series that ran 3 seasons that I've still never seen. But out of the hundreds of hours of content I've digested about movies over the last 5 years or so, I can't recall a single time someone brought up Hanna for one reason or another. I think it deserves a rewatch if you remember it fondly at all. Crank up the volume, put the phone down, just vibe out. This movie will blow your socks off. It is an obtuse, cold, violent, exhilarating, propulsive, coming-of-age tale. There's nothing quite like it, and I just needed to get all that off of my chest. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe if you want, of course. Later, guys. Listen to this again.
Ain't in my best yet, just let me work. Less than good, it's better than worse. Count my blessings, said it was 7 a curse. This ain't no